Good evening and welcome to the first of two meetings tonight. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove. At this time, we will convene our Board of Sanitation meeting for Monday, May the 19th, 2014. In lieu of a roll call, I'll ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Ed Bell.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, board members. You've been presented the printed copy of the minutes of the previous meeting dated Monday, May the 5th. Floor is open for questions, comments, or corrections.
I have reviewed the minutes and I find no corrections.
Also with me.
There's no questions, comments, or corrections. I ask for a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye and the motion carries. Next item of business is the payment of claims. Board members, you have a docket of 4 pages. Wastewater claims in the amount of $74,269.30. Floor is open for questions or comments.
Thank you. I have a question on page 2. Just a little over halfway down from Best Equipment in the amount of $13,445.78.
That is for new trash totes, and I believe it's 200 of them that was purchased.
Thank you. That is all the questions I have.
I have none.
No other questions or comments. I ask for a motion to approve the wastewater claims dated May the 19th, 2014 in the amount of $74,269.30.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye and the motion carries. Chris, did you want to talk? Oh, okay. All right. There's no unfinished business carried over from the previous meeting. No new business this evening. Comments from board members?
I have none
And I
tonight.
have none.
Ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
The meeting is adjourned at 6:03 p.m. We will meet again on Monday, June the 2nd. Board of Works will convene in 5 minutes. Sure. Good evening and welcome to the second of 2 meetings. This evening, my name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove, and at this time we will convene our Board of Public Works and Safety meeting for Monday, May the 19th, 2014. In lieu of a roll call, I'll ask each participant to introduce themselves, beginning on my far right.
Ed Bell.
Dan McMillan, Clerk Treasurer.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Sandy Seward.
Thank you, Board. You've been presented the printed copy of the minutes from the previous meeting dated Monday, May the 5th, 2014. The floor is open for questions, comments, or corrections.
After reviewing the minutes of May 5th, I find there's no corrections needed.
I have none as well.
Need a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye and the motion carries. Move on to approval of claims. Board, you have a docket of 26 pages of claims in the amount of $760,869.77. Floor is open for comments or questions.
I have several, please. First one is on page 1. The very last item, A&M Custom Collision Repair for $10,029.69.
That was to repair Jason Stachel's police car.
And we will be reimbursed by insurance.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't, was that full insurance reimbursed?
Yes, that was all insurance.
Okay.
Thank you. My next question, please, is on page 3. Please tell me someone's not going to Lowe's and purchasing these individually.
They do, yes.
Like we made 15 trips to Lowe's in one day.
Well, I don't know if these were all done on the same day or not, but, I mean, we get numerous Lowe's receipts
Okay.
in a billing cycle. I know some of them looks like Parks, MVH.
Okay. They were all dated the same, that's why I asked.
Right.
So the
And-
date's basically when you posted them.
That's very, that's
exactly.
very possible,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Okay. And my other question, please, page 7, 3/4 of the way down, Imperial Fence Company for $5,206.89.
That was for the Little League Diamond, some work they had done at the Little League Diamond, that Tom was getting done.
Thank you. And that is all my questions. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from board members?
Pretty well covered it.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve the corporate claims dated May the 19th, 2014, in the amount of $760,869.77.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Chris? 3 minutes.
First off, thank you, Mayor, for letting me speak. Board members, something has come to my attention that affects this body here, the Board of Works, and its ability to render decisions impartially. Recently, Mr. Bell and his family attended an Indians game at the favor of Crossroads Engineering. And I, and according to emails and other board members, feel that it would be inappropriate to accept gifts from companies, especially companies that they stand to approve or disapprove contracts with down the line. I believe this is a severe conflict of interest and that Mr. Bell cannot maintain impartiality when he stands to receive gifts like that. In addition, the Board of Works hears cases of employee malfeasance and decides their fate. If I might quote out of the employee manual, which is under the Employee Behavior, Section 7, Gifts and Gratuities, no employee shall accept a gift or gratuity from any individual, company, or corporation that might benefit from such action in excess of $5. Now, you know, I'm wondering how Mr. Bell would stand in judgment of other employees when he doesn't himself hold himself to the rules of the employee manual. I wouldn't want to be a city employee knowing that I'm going to be judged by people that don't have to adhere those same rules. I don't think that's right. And, you know, these transgressions, I mean, I'm just wondering whether Mr. Bell can render decisions impartially, and I would wonder what the rest of the board has to say about that, up to and including Mr. Bell's resignation.
I can answer that. I wasn't really the guest of Crossroads, my wife was. She works for the,
I think it's irrelevant whether it's you
County.
or your family that
and
benefit,
she
Mr.
got
Bell.
invited to the function.
Did you not go?
Well, sure, but it was through my wife's invitation.
I think it's irrelevant whether it's you or your family benefit.
Well, that's what you have to say.
I'd like to make a comment. I received the email that you forwarded to the city asking everyone. Did you hear from everyone?
No, ma'am, I heard from the mayor and you through Mr. McMillan and from Anthony Davidson. That was the only 3 people I heard from.
So we don't know if there was any others.
No, I
So
don't.
as part of this board, and there's only 2 people on this board, I guess my question would be, you know, if they were sent to his wife, okay, but I don't see what was their intent to gain? Because we are a 2-man board. I was not offered tickets. So if they were trying to make some kind of a gain, they would probably want to approach both of us. And therefore, to me, I think it was, I mean, he had to use his discretion, but my question would be, what was the intent?
And the part about the employees not receiving any monetary gifts over $5?
Again, now we're back to who got the gift.
Okay. I just wanted to bring this to your attention.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for hearing me.
All right. Move on to, there's no unfinished business carried over from previous meetings. New business. First item of business is pavement agreement extension. And I'll ask Brian Pearson from United to step forward. Brian?
Good evening. We currently have a contract with the city of Beech Grove to complete some professional services, road design plans for resurfacing and various pavement work throughout the city. It has come to our attention recently that through the Redevelopment Commission, who is willing to spend some money on the construction of some additional roads, that we could provide further services as part of our original contract for a bigger project, which leads to better pricing, you would think, through the contractors. And so the supplement we have provided for an additional $17,400 is to provide those professional services, both a design fee and construction inspection. So it would take us all the way through all of the professional services needed throughout the project. And my understanding is the construction cost itself, which is on the range of $205,000, would be covered by the Redevelopment Commission.
Can you go over the list of roads
Yes.
that's going to be
Yes.
paved by the RDC?
The additional roads that we are looking at include 8th Avenue from Albany Street to Buffalo Street, Buffalo Street from 17th to 18th Avenue, the alley between 17th and 18th Avenue from Main Street to Albany, and Mann Drive, or the entrance to the park, off of Sherman Avenue, or Sherman Drive, I'm sorry. Those 4 locations would be in addition to the work that we already have programmed and in the project.
Board members, you should have received in your packet a sheet that looks like this.
Yes.
At the bottom is, in yellow highlight, is the cost for the supplement are split 50/50 between the utility cost for drainage, these are also drainage issues, and the roadway costs, or roadway for paving. Is that accurate?
Correct, yeah. The split comes from straight resurfacing, which is more road work, and then areas where we're going in and tearing out more of the pavement and replacing it. Involves putting an aggregate bed down, some rocks, some drainage structures. One of the main reasons that the pavement is failing so, I don't want to say catastrophically, that makes it sound really, really bad, but the failing the way that it is because of lack of subsurface drainage. So this project would go in and fix those locations and allow the pavement to last longer.
Any other questions from board members?
I have none.
What is the time frame, Brian, that from here on out until this actually gets done?
Yes, to incorporate this into the project that we already have going requires a wage rate hearing, something through the state and the Department of Labor, which we have scheduled for next week. Once we get that accomplished and wrap up the plans, this could be advertised as early as June 2nd, and then that would be 2 weeks prior to the following Board of Works meeting on the 16th, at which point we could open the bids and then analyze those bids and award the contract.
So paving maybe in July, early July?
Yeah. Typically 30 to 45 days for paperwork, notice to proceed, verifying the contractor's bids and all that stuff. So 30 to 45 days after June 16th, they could be out there paving.
All right. Dan, you have any thoughts on this?
No, none whatsoever.
All right. If there's not any further questions or comments, I'll ask for a motion to approve the amendment and add on $17,400 to the existing agreement with United Consulting to pave the above-mentioned roads. Ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Next order of business is a pay adjustment for Officer Huffman with the Police Department. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor, Board. I'm asking that Officer Lee Huffman be promoted to Master Patrolman. This is a stage that they go through. It's a one-year increment. They go from probationary to patrolman to Master Patrolman. This is normal, and it's been approved. The money's in the budget to give him this raise.
Floor is open for questions.
Ed, was that in your packet?
Did you get one?
I did not get one.
I got one.
You didn't get one either?
Chief, was the money budgeted for this?
Yes, it was. It's actually, he was supposed to get promoted back in 4/9, but we mistakenly didn't do that. So
We-
you have to get back pay, but that was figured into the budget for this year.
We had talked about this earlier, and it might be good for all the department heads. If there's a pay adjustment, Dan and I talked about it, maybe 2 months leeway prior to it, so that we can start the process. But anyway, there's no other questions?
I have none.
I'll ask for a motion to approve the chief's request to increase Lee Huffman's pay.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries.
Thank you.
Stay there, chief. We have a letter with a recommendation concerning parking on Main Street. And I'll ask the clerk to read the letter into the record, please.
Dear Board of Works members, this letter serves as a request to resize a parking space on the southeast corner of 2nd Main Street. This parking space was allocated to serve one vehicle during the Main Street revitalization project. The parking space, as it stands, is too large and consequently prohibits free movement from my building as a vehicle exits to go north on 2nd Street. I brought this problem to the attention of Mike Masterson at Crossroads, and his recommendation was to petition the board in an effort to make the parking spot smaller by 6 feet, allowing for parking of a compact car only. We are not asking for the parking spot to be eliminated, rather only shortened. The business located there currently does not have free and unencumbered use of this door by virtue of this parking spot encroaching on the turn radius of vehicles pulling in and out of that garage bay. Thank you for your consideration, your prompt attention to this matter. Sincerely, Richard Byland.
Thanks, Dan. I asked the chief to give us some input on this. Chief, what can or what should we do with this?
As it stands now, the parking space is not in violation, but it wouldn't hurt to make it smaller to make the business a little bit easier to get in and out of. But there is no ordinance to where somebody has to park in its parking space. So even if you make it smaller, but it still doesn't block his right in and out, there's nothing that the police could do about it.
So the council would have to change the ordinance or something?
They would have to make some type of ordinance saying that you have to park in a designated parking space that's marked that way.
So your recommendation is to reduce the space? Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Floor is open for questions for the chief.
What size is it now?
I think he said it was a 24-foot space and recommended down to maybe a 16 or 18. He made a comment, I talked to him tonight, that the business that uses the property would repaint it. And I told him that it's a public street and the city would not authorize him or his company without some kind of approval to do it. So if it's done, or that company might do it without permission, but he was told that that's not a good thing to do.
No, we would probably frown on that. We would have to get approval prior to
It would have to be
paint, because that
something.
would open it up to everybody.
Yeah, he was told that the city has to paint it, and I recommend that he not do that or have his company do that.
So if this is a 24-foot space, what are all the, what's the average size of all the parking spaces throughout Main Street?
In this area, I would guess they're 16 to 18 foot. But most of them, well, half of them, at least a little more than the half, are the diagonal parking, which leads out to Main Street. And can't have many more than 20 feet on the diagonal parking.
I drove down there today on the way up, and I said, and saw the back line. There was a pickup truck happened to be in that spot. It looked like there was still plenty of space from the back line to, even if there was a yellow curb making a turn, into his drive. But I could see where if there was a larger vehicle, a tailgate or lift gate or something like that,
My understanding is
probably
that
cause a problem.
the business is pulling out something that's on a trailer, which makes it harder to pull out.
Okay, yeah, I can see that then.
Any other questions?
I'm not familiar with the businesses that this is affecting, so I'm going to go with your recommendation.
It's a
'cause-
business that's on Second. They come out of a garage door and pull north onto Second. But I don't think that it would hurt anything to make it smaller.
Thanks, Chief, and stay there. I need a motion to approve the recommendation from Mr. Byland concerning making one parking spot smaller by 6 feet.
I'll make that motion on it.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Next is a master vendor license for Holy Name. This time I'll defer to the city attorney for comment.
Sure. Bill, you want to step up and
Good evening, Board and Mayor. I'm here to represent Holy Name. I am a part of the planning committee for the Oktoberfest. And as I'm sure you're aware, we're planning our third annual Oktoberfest, the dates of which are October 3rd and 4th of this year. And we are here to request a master vendor license and also a road closure for 16th Avenue, occurring at 10 a.m. on Friday, October 3rd, and carrying that through 2 p.m. on Sunday, October 5th.
We'll do the master vendor first.
Okay.
Okay. Craig, do you have any other comment on this?
no? How about you, Chief?
No, I think it's all in order, and I would recommend it.
Board members have questions or comments?
Dan, are you okay with the insurance certificate?
Yes, I've already got the insurance. They provided it the last couple of years. We've had no issues as far as I'm aware. So I would say they're good to go, provided you guys approve it.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay, if there's no further questions or comments, ask for a motion to approve the master vendor license for Holy Name.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Next order of business is street closure for Oktoberfest. I'll defer to the clerk to read the request into the record, please.
Dear Beech Grove Board of Works and Safety, on behalf of Holy Name of Jesus Catholic Church, I am asking your permission to close 16th Avenue between Albany Street, north end, to Main Street, south end, for our annual Oktoberfest that will be held on October 3rd and 4th, 2014. We would like to close 16th Avenue before, during, and after the event. We would like to close the street to traffic from 10 a.m. on Friday, October 3rd through 2 p.m. on Sunday, October the 5th. This closure time frame will include setup and tear down time for our event. As has been done in previous years, we will notify all surrounding neighbors of this event to apprise them of all aspects of the upcoming event, including notification of the street closure. This event will be open to the public, and the Beech Grove community is encouraged to participate in the fun festivities. If you have any questions regarding this event, please feel free to contact me at any time. Thank you for your consideration. Respectfully submitted, Vicky Scoto.
Thanks, Dan. Go back to Bill. Any other comments you would like to make to the board?
No, sir.
I talked to Vicky. Apparently, what they've done in the past is for the affected neighbors, they'll have a meeting. They'll give everybody notice. They'll have a meeting and they'll talk to the neighbors about how it impact the street closure will impact them for the 1 or 2 days. But other than that, I think they've done it in the past.
How many years have you done this same thing?
This will be our 3rd year.
Okay. I thought.
If there's no other questions, I'll ask for a motion to approve the recommendation to close 16th Avenue for the Oktoberfest.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries.
Thank
And
you.
as the event gets closer, we'll give you the numbers for the department heads, and that way you can coordinate with those folks.
Wonderful. Thank
Okay.
you. I really appreciate
Have a
it.
nice evening.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Brad? We have a motion for summer employment.
I came forward beginning of the month and got approval to hire 2 part-time people at Public Works. So I'd like to read this into the record. I'm asking the board to approve the hiring of Chad Seward for part-time summer employment at the Department of Public Works. Chad will make no more than $12 per hour and will work no more than 29 hours per week. There is currently money in my budget to cover this position. Thank you for your consideration. So I would like to fill one of those 2 spots.
We have some more applications that have been picked up. We put an ad out in at the high school, and a couple of the kids have come forward. I asked our city attorney to look into this as far as legality, because I do not want to have any conflict with nepotism.
Sure.
So I will defer at this time to the city attorney for board consultation.
Sure. The General Assembly enacted a nepotism statute in 2012 and essentially mandated all the cities and municipalities to adopt their own nepotism ordinances, which we did, by the way, and we adopted the mirror image of what the state statutes stated. I think the relevant inquiry here is whether Chad would be in what the statute says, direct line of supervision of Sandy, and that clearly is not the case. And essentially what they do, they give examples like performance evaluations, details of work, terms and conditions of employment. By the way, if they're assuming Chad would ever get a pay increase, that would be done by the council, not this board. So my interpretation of the nepotism statute is that there would be no conflict here.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions from board members or any comments from board members?
I would like to abstain from voting if I may, please.
All right, with that, I'll ask for a motion to approve the recommendation from the Director of Public Works.
I'll make said motion.
And I will second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries.
Thank you.
And there should be a couple more come in, Brad. I talked with Mr. Cox today.
Okay.
And the next order of business is Safe Routes to School grant and the awarding of the consulting contract for inspection to GAI Consultants. Can you brief the board on this, Brad, please?
Yeah, it's just a standard NDOT process where we receive, letters of interest for construction inspection on the Safe Routes to School project. GAI was selected during that process, and now we're at the contract phase where we work out a contract between them and us for that service that takes place on that project. Gary Randall's here from GAI. He offered his presence tonight in case you guys had any questions or wanted to meet him. But that's basically what that is. Most of it's boilerplate. I think Craig's had a chance to look it over. And then one of the things we did discuss was kind of looking at that negotiated fee once the bids had come in, because many times those are lower. And it sometimes doesn't make a lot of sense to negotiate that prior, not knowing what that final number is going to be. But we're excited to work with GAI. And as I said, I'm sure Gary would make himself available if you guys want to ask him any questions.
Well, would you like to comment, Gary?
I'd just like to say real quick that we're excited to work with you. We turned in LOIs and we're excited that we were able to win this part of the project, and we're excited for the opportunity.
Can you, very briefly, Brad, go through the process of how these people knew about this and how many people put in for it and what happened?
Yeah, basically the project gets posted and there's about a month given where consultants have an opportunity to put together a letter of interest. I think it's 11 or 13 pages. Basically, it's just a kind of a portfolio of who they are and what they provide. You score them off of a kind of a template that asks different things about them, what you think they can bring to the project, what their history is with similar projects and things like that. I think we received 8 letters of interest, so it's quite a bit of interest. GAI was someone that we hadn't worked with yet, and they brought kind of a unique perspective. A lot has changed with NDOT as far as the amount of responsibility that they put on the city. Each city now is required, it's been this way for a couple of years, to have someone in a position of ERC, which is the employee in responsible charge, which is me. And that list of duties that they're putting on that person has grown and grown each year to the point that now it's quite a bit. And so GAI is kind of leading edge, in my opinion, on their focus on helping the ERC to be as fully prepared as you can be in dealing with these projects, because now we have quarterly meetings with NDOT that we never used to have, and quarterly reports and things. And so you're consistently being put in front of them and having to have a really good knowledge base of the project, where you stand, where you're at budget-wise, timeline-wise. And so it's much more pressure on me to show up and basically have all my, T's crossed and I's dotted. And so working with someone like this who now has seen the need to really take that as their approach, which is we're going to be there for you to make sure you have what you need, it's pretty comforting. And not all of them are that way. So we saw a lot of value in that, and we're happy to have the opportunity to work with them.
I like that. I like the responsibility that NDOT has given local government, because you have more control, whereas the engineers used to have more control. I like that a lot. I don't like how NDOT changed the rules with how this gets paid.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan and I, we've talked about that, and that's not fair.
Sure.
That has nothing to do with you folks. But it just puts a burden on government.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what's going to happen. Now, this contract that we're going to look at tonight, it says here cannot exceed $49,000. But is this 80/20?
Yeah, this project is.
So we're only going to pay 20% of this?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
I got one question on this. As far as the 49,000, was that included in the total amount of the split between the school and us?
It should have been, because I think the entire project was looked at, including all phases. We're just moving into the next phase
Okay.
of this project. But yeah, the total dollar amount has not changed.
And that's what I assumed.
Right.
But, I found out you don't assume it.
Very true.
All right, questions from board members?
I have none.
I have none.
Craig, any comment on this agreement?
No, Brad and I had a conversation on Friday, and I had comment.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve an agreement between the City of Beech Grove and GAI Consultants pursuant to the Safe Routes to School, not to exceed $49,000.
I'll make said motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries.
Thanks.
Next order of business, which is not on the agenda, is a request for a block party on Detroit Street. I'll ask the clerk to read the request into the record, please.
Request for a block party on Detroit Street. My youngest daughter is graduating from high school next month. She remembers Mark and I hosting a block party a few years ago and would like to do the same for her graduation party. We are having her party on the afternoon of June 7, 2014, between 2 and 4 p.m. Would it be possible to use Detroit Street between 13th and 14th Avenues? We are inviting friends and family. Please keep in mind that with this size of the Kidwell family, we are expecting between 50 and 75 people. Abby also wants to invite the firefighter station on Albany Street. Thank you for your consideration. If you have any questions, please contact me. Pam Stoltz.
Questions or comments from board members?
I have none.
I have
Are you
none.
okay with everything, Mark?
Invite the police.
Motion to approve. I'll ask for a motion to approve the block party for Detroit Street.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Another order of business that came in today is concerning a working project between the Department of Public Works and Citizens Energy. And I want to read the email, or I'll have the clerk read the email into the record, I'm sorry, yeah.
This was addressed to Brad Merriweather, and it just says, I just wanted to let you know that we are planning on starting the 11th Avenue, Southern to Detroit, main replacement project next Thursday, 5/22/14. Once they finish that job, they will move to 19th Avenue and then on to 13th Avenue after that. 11th Avenue will take approximately 6 weeks to complete. I just wanted to give you a heads up of this upcoming work. As the project moves forward, I will update you on the schedule if you have any changes. You want this? Hope?
Yes, please.
All right. For the 11th Avenue Southern to Detroit project, we wanted to see if we could close down 11th Street during our construction work hours. We would open them up once our construction work for the day ends. We would also allow the residents on the street to have access. Can we do this? Please let me know as soon as you can. If this is possible, we would also probably do something similar on 19th Avenue from Churchman to Cleveland. I appreciate your help with these projects and look forward to working with you.
Thanks, Dan. What's happening, Board, is Citizens Energy Group is going into these areas and they're replacing the water main. So once they replace the water main on 11th Avenue between Detroit and Southern and on 19th Street between Churchman and Cleveland, once they take the mains out and put new, or they won't take the mains out, they'll flow fill them, but they'll put new mains in, then they're going to replace the road for us. So how we win is we get 2 new roads. And then the people down there get new roads and new water mains. And that's because of their age. Now, then after that's done, then they're going to go on to 13th Street. And they're going to replace the water main, I think, from Main Street to Southern. And the same thing will happen when that goes on. And they've already marked, did the markings for 13th Avenue. So their request is to be able to close 11th and 19th Street while they're doing those during the day and then open them back up of a night. And in order to do that, that requires board approval. So, any comments from board members?
Sounds like a win-win.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve, to allow Citizens Energy to close 11th Street and 19th Street during construction, and then reopen them when the construction completes at the end of each day.
I'll make said motion.
And I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I also vote aye, and the motion carries. Tim, can you brief us on the microphones, please? Which microphones are bad?
Well, we have Sandra's, and then the one that Mr. Bell sits at is also bad, and I think the one that is on the end here.
Can you get an estimated price
I can.
and then send an email to the clerk, please? And then we'll take it from there.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Comments from board members?
I have none.
I have none tonight.
I have one comment. A week from tomorrow, Tuesday, May the 27th at 7 PM, we will have a town hall meeting in these chambers beginning at 7 PM. And the town hall meeting will be concerning St. Francis. So please mark your calendar for that. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 7. With that, I ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
The meeting is adjourned at 6:44 PM. We will meet again on Monday, June the 2nd. Thank you very much.